Now we'll cover page layout and design. Basically, we're going to be working with tables. These tools will give you the flexibility to do almost anything you want with your page layout. Of course, you can just start editing the existing tables, or we can add some new tables. Now, when we add a new table, it will always insert right after the table that our cursor is in. So let's say we want to add a new table between these two tables. We click inside the top one, go up here to the Tables drop-down menu, and click Insert Layout Table. And it adds a new table underneath the one we were currently in. By default, it has two cells, one for your section title and one for your content. And the reason we separate sections into different tables is so that we can have a visual distinction between the sections rather than having everything just run together. And we do that by applying different background colors. You'll notice this one has white background, this one has a gray background, this one has an image for a background, and it really gives the website a nice, clean, professional look. Let's fill this table cell with some text. Okay, now we'll go ahead and edit table properties. Here you have quite a few options, so let's go over them. Let's add a background color. In the palette section, the first 4 colors are the ones preset in your template editor. The next 2 are semi-transparent black and semi-transparent white, and the remaining 6 spaces are your history, colors you've previously used. Let's just grab a new color for demonstration purposes. Next is Table ID, and this you will use for linking your menu buttons to this section. You can only use letters and numbers, no spaces. And the first character has to be a letter. That's just basic web standards. So let's label this My New Table. Now instead of a background color, we can use an image, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. And the auto expand is for the images. Then we have cell padding, which is the spacing between the outside of the table and the table cells. By default, every new table is set to 50 to give it a nice look and feel. Let's click Update. And we see the background color has changed, and all this area around and between the table cells is cell padding. Let's turn off the editor. As we look at the page, we see that our new section is visually separated from the other sections because of the background color. Okay, now let's play around with rows and columns. This table has 1 column and 2 rows, but we can change that. So let's say we want 3 sections to display 3 different products. I just click to place my cursor in the cell, and I can add a column before and add a column after. And there they are. Now let's delete some of this text. And paste it so we have content in all 3. But wait, I want my title row to be 1 cell. Let's click inside it to place our cursor. And we're going to merge cells in row. And now let's center it again and style it. Now the maximum columns you want to have is 3. Because anything beyond that will look really squished and messed up, especially on mobile devices. But what if we need more cells down here and not just 3? Well, let's just add another row. We can click to place our caret, add row before, or add row after. And there they are. Now if you click inside the merged cell and add a new row, that new row will also be merged, and you can click in any merged cell and split it back up. Split row cells. And there we go. We can also delete a row. And it's gone. We can even delete columns. Uh-oh, can't do it because we have a merged cell. So let's split that cell. And by default, all the content will be added to the cell in the first column. Then we can click in a column and delete it. Now we're down to 2. Let's go ahead and merge this one again. And let's get rid of these blank rows. By default, table cells are fluid, which means they readjust according to content. So if we type in one of them, it will shift to keep the content height equal. And since this one now has more content, it will be wider. But we can set it so that it remains equal. Let's go ahead and do some table cell editing. Let's edit this cell. We go to Edit Cell Properties, and here we have a bunch of options. Text Align is basically the same as aligning the text in the toolbar, so we really don't need to mess with that. Let's go ahead and add some crazy colors for demonstration purposes. We'll make the border color teal, and we'll make it nice and thick, 10 pixels wide. Let's do a background color, we'll go with the pink. Then there's border radius, which basically adds a curve to the corners. And padding, we'll set at 20. And we're just going to apply it to the current cell only. And we'll set the width at 50%. Since we have 2 columns, we want them to be equal. We click Update, and now we see we have our border that's 10 pixels thick, we have our background color, we have the cell padding, which is the space between the outer border and the content inside. We have our border radius, which is the curvy corners. And now I'm going to add some more content into this box. I'm just going to copy and paste. Make it bigger. Now if you'll notice, by default, the content in the table cell over here is vertically aligned to the top. So let's change that. We'll do V-align middle. And also, let's go ahead and apply these changes to all cells in table. Okay, so now we see that all the cells in this table have the outline and the background color and the border radius and even the padding. And you'll notice that the content in this table cell is now vertically aligned in the middle. And we can also vertically align it to the bottom if we want. So you really have a lot of options, but don't get crazy and make it look like this. Okay, next thing we're going to insert is an image table. Let's put that one right between these two. So we click up here, Insert Image Table, and now we choose a background image. We can select from what we have in our library, or upload a new one using the background upload button, or select from our stock images. This one looks good. We click to add it, go back, and there it is. We just click on it, and there's our new table with an image as a background. And of course we can type some stuff in here. And this is what you would use for your header, like up here. And I like to sprinkle these throughout the website with some sort of relevant quote. It's just visually nice to break up all the text information with some nice images. And we can change the image at any time. Edit Table Properties, select Image, and we switch it to this. Update, and there it is. By default, this table auto-expands to the height of the image, which is nice, but there may be occasions where we don't want the height to auto-expand. We just want the height tall enough for the content. So now we turn off auto-expand, and our table shrinks down just to fit our content. And if we add more content, it expands. But the rest of the image gets cut off. The auto-expand really just makes sure that the table never shrinks to be smaller than the image. Okay, last type of table is inner table. So let's go up here and we're going to put an inner table right there. Insert inner table. Now an inner table is not for page layout and design purposes. It's really more for making charts and things like that. and you have a lot of the same options as far as editing the table and the cells. Here's an example of what an inner table could be used for, and this is just an inner table inside of a layout table, and it gives you the ability to create some really nice charts. Okay, last thing. Let's say we have a bunch of tables on our page and we decide we want to rearrange them. No problem. Let's move this one. We click to select it, and we can move the table up or down. And it's that simple. Now we really can't cover every possibility, so just play around with it and see what works best for you.